the studio with me this morning. Very happy to have a guest in the studio. Gerry Gordon from Gerry Gordon's Mazda. Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure. First time we've met. So welcome to the station and nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. A long-established Mazda dealership. In fact, the longest established Mazda dealership in Canada. 40 years. 40 years. So before we talk about that exciting anniversary, what led into this? Tell us a bit about your background in cars.
Well, I moved here from Ireland. I was a mechanic in Ireland, working actually at a British Leyland dealership there. And I moved to Canada, emigrated in 1967, and arrived in Winnipeg. I had very little money at that time, so had to get a job right away. So got a job at a British Leyland dealership called Burnell Motors. And from there, within a year, I bought a service station called Coventry Motors. So through the years, I fixed British cars, raced a lot of cars on ice, and also raced a lot of road tracks. Some of those tracks were Mosport in Toronto that some people might know, and other tracks around the U.S. And then in 1977, took on Mazda. Mm-hmm. And 40 years later, here I am.
So you started the dealership up right away, your own dealership?
I did indeed.
Was it out of the garage, or was it something that's separate? Like you sold the garage?
I had moved to Pembina Highway, to a service station on Pembina Highway, and turned one of the service bays into a showroom, and then kept on selling cars, and then built a building there, and extended the building later on, and years later. So it's been quite the history and quite the journey with Mazda.
So that was the long building. That was the building you had for years and years down on Mazda and Grant about there, eh? Or down on Pembina and Grant.
Pembina and Grant, yes.
Pembina and Grant.
That was the one I had for quite a considerable amount of time. And then we moved to the Waverley Auto Mall, and are enjoying our new building there. And hopefully that it will be continue on for the next, not 40, but maybe love it to be 20, but we'll see.
Well, I can continue on. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be there every day. I mean, it could be. I know you're passionate about that, though, and we were just chatting a bit off air that, I mean, as much as you love cars, one of the passionate things you have passion for is people.
I love people, and every day I enjoy sitting down and have a little chat with certain people, and just love it. All my customers turn out to be friends, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, should I say. Yeah. So I really enjoy people, and every day I go to work, I just love to see their faces and love to sit down and talk about their cars and sometimes about their life, and so they end up all being friends. Mm-hmm.
So how have you seen the car industry change over the last 40 years from when you first started to now?
Well, we've moved quite a ways from 40 years ago. I remember that was one of the times when we had the Mazda rotary engine, which was a brand new engine into the market in 1970s. And we had that engine, which was developed right up until 2010, I think was the last year that we had it. And so there's been a lot of different changes, a lot of different options on cars that come standard now, which you never got before. We were just discussing in the hallway there about the sunroofs I used to sell, where you had this crank, you just turned the handle and the sunroof would open.
I used to call them moonroofs. I remember they were called moonroofs at one point. Now they're sunroofs.
Now they're sunroofs. They used to be moonroofs. So, they've come a long way. Everything is electric windows. There's no crank windows where you have to wind down the window. And you got, electric heated seats and cruise controls, and all these things have developed over the years. So it's been quite a journey just watching the development of the car industry in itself, and also the product, the way that it's developed. And some of the new features on some of the cars we have today that Mazda brought out, should I say, is way ahead of its time. And if you're looking for a car, I'll tell you, Mazda's one of the best. See, I'm always selling.
Yeah. I'm speaking with Gerry Gordon, the owner of Gerry Gordon's Mazda. They're going into this is their 40th year, so it's their big celebration this year, 40 years, and maybe he's hoping for at least 20 more. So if you were to look back at the history of Mazda cars, and obviously, you love the current cars, do you have a favorite one that came across the line over the last 40 years?
I think I enjoyed the twin-turbo Mazda RX-7.
Mazda RX-7.
In 1994.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very good-looking Mazda RX-7. They only brought it out for a few years, but that was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Well, my friend had an RX-7.
Oh, there you go.
My friend had an RX-7. He was a windsurfer, right? So he didn't fit a lot of his windsurfing stuff in there, but I always know when I went in the car that he had been windsurfing. He used to smell like an ocean in there or something like a windsurf. But I loved his little car. That's how I learned to drive standard. I was on his little RX-7.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful little car.
They were quite the car. They really were.
But as I say, it didn't fit much of his equipment in there. More of a sports car.
Yeah, a little two-seater.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what about now? What's there's a lot of them on the line these days, right?
I love the new CX-9 that Mazda have right now. It compares with BMW, Audi, and it's right up there.
That's the luxury models of Mazda.
That's the luxury sport utility. Our CX-5 is really something else. The new 2017 CX-5 is really something. We compete with anything with that car. So if you're looking for something in a mid-size sport utility, that's one you should certainly have a look at.
So what are you guys doing to celebrate this year? What's the big celebration?
We are, of course, we're giving really good deals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we are doing, we've got a lot of discounts happening right now at the dealership. And we're looking forward to a great celebration time this week. And hopefully we'll sell lots of cars.
What kind of
Get
celebrations?
New customers.
Yeah, new customer. What kind of celebrations you got? Just any parties planned or anything
for
you guys?
We have a party planned for Thursday night. So some of our closest customers that have been with me for a very long time are going to join us. Actually, they're all friends. So they've turned into friends, and we're looking forward to a big celebration. And the president of Mazda is going to be here. Vice President and a few other
from Japan
executives from Canada.
Oh, from Canada.
Yeah. So that's going to be a really good night. I'm really looking forward to it.
So give us a sense of maybe, I mean, you're obviously in the know in terms of all the, the new technology and that kind of stuff. Is Mazda working on some new technology as well for the environmentally friendly, quote unquote, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're they're talking about going electric next. So we'll see. There's quite a few things they got in the works right at this point in time. Hydrogen they've been working on for a number of years. And so I'm not sure exactly how close they are to bringing out a hydrogen car, but hydrogen would be something very special.
Yeah, I guess they want to get it right before they start rolling it out on the line.
Absolutely. They've been working on that for about 30 years, though. So if it does happen to materialize, it will be very efficient and very different.
So what are you driving right now?
I'm driving a Mazda CX-9 217. So really enjoying that car. It's just something very, very special. That's what I said. With a sport utility, if you're looking for one, you got to come and look at that one. It compares with Audi and BMW.
Our station car. What's our station car?
Mazda CX-5.
Mazda CX-5.
Yes.
Okay, so if you see that driving out on the street, that's what it is, a Mazda CX. I don't get to drive that often enough. It's always the sales guys and the news guys that take it out. I think the on-air guys should probably take that home one day.
Absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Indeed.
Jerry said it himself. I got to talk to Finn about that. Yeah, I'm taking that home with me tonight. Ron, sorry you don't get it. I'm taking it home. Well, Jerry, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very
much. To chat
much.
with you. Congratulations, 40 years. That's amazing. Yeah. And you mentioned off air that as well. You're one of the only independents, or how does that work?
Well, if you come to a dealership, you have the opportunity of talking to an owner. So I don't think there's too many dealerships in Winnipeg that you can do that. So
yeah, it's not a conglomerate. It's not
a conglomerate.
Yeah.
It's there's only a couple of independent guys left, myself and somebody else.
Yeah.
and that's it. So my door is always open. If you happen to purchase a car, you want to come in for a visit, come right in.
Okay. It's like walking to a corner grocery store instead of going to one of the big chains.
Absolutely.
So. Yeah. All right. Well, excellent.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations again on 40 years. Look forward to maybe to see you one day soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great celebrations. I've been in conversation with Gerry Gordon from Gerry Gordon's Mazda, celebrating 40 years and still going strong. The longest running Mazda dealership in Canada, not in Winnipeg, in Canada. That's right. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary. Big party Thursday night for some people there.